are back at MI Sports Talk again. Breaking news this week: Lions have fired their coach.
Yeah, but I love the idea of an interim coach because he's like ambitious and panicky. Nobody else has that in the minute, besides a team that could be a wild card or a total loss.
Oh yeah, like the interim coach said, I have a 5-game audition. He's
Truly.
got 5 games to prove his worth and maybe apply for the job or whatever. So.
Well, for me, it's an exciting opportunity to kind of like get that energy for next season. At this point, we're not going to go anywhere special.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. That's the thing. You're in that situation where, you keep him around. We talked about it last week.
Mm-hmm.
You keep him around for another, 5-6 games, and this way at least you have something to build on, and this way you can evaluate more players again and maybe get a different viewpoint from a different guy.
Right. Do you think he'll build up his own coaching minute, like within the next few shows or games, I should say?
Yeah, I think he's got a resume already. He's obviously been, he was an assistant head coach, so he's got a good enough resume to get him to that point. So I'm sure his history, and the buck will stop with him. He has the final say on what they're going to do and how they're going to prep the team. So, will they stay similar to what they were doing? I'm sure they can't veer off too much and can't put in too much new, but
I know, but I'm afraid
he can still put a little twist on his team, on the team for the rest of the year, and hopefully they'll play hard for him, and you never know.
I know, but so the Bears are on Sunday for sure.
Oh yeah, they play the Bears, and what happens if he goes 5-0 and wins all the games? Then you're in a ton of hurt.
Yeah, I know, because then you have that question: is he valuable enough to keep for another season?
Yeah. That's where it is. Do you keep him on staff? If you go to a different direction with a different coach, do you bring him along? Does the other coach bring him along? Is he good enough to stay on board? So all of them, I think, the whole coaching staff, not just him, I guess, they're all auditioning to keep their jobs,
So at the same time, the GM role, which is the guy doing the recruiting, basically, there has to be somebody in the rank to actually do the work.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's where you're at. You're in that situation where you're going to look for both a GM and a new coach. So
it's a double evaluation, honestly.
Yeah. It's just one of those situations where you're they all got to keep coaching. They all got to keep playing. The players are playing for their time.
I'm going to hold myself to say that they still need to think about, as Sam said, overtaking the team. But that's just a separate topic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's
otherwise.
That's where you're at in that situation. It's where they're going to take it by the ownership. I know you have voiced the opinion that the only common thread was the coach. And that's where we're at. I mean, he's.
Yeah, and I get it. Let's just let that one go by for the minute. Let's see what happens the next 5 weeks and see what goes, by.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's where you're at. I mean, you look at his stats here. I got his first year there, which was leftover guys from Caldwell. He went 6-10. And then he goes the following year 3-12-1, and at this point in the year he's 4-7 on this COVID year. So
yeah.
So you're in that situation where you're his overall record is, like I said, 13-29-1, which is a 31% winning percentage. So 69% of the time we're losing, and 31% of the time we're winning.
Yeah, but I think what I was watching the news tonight, I was seeing the eagerness in his eyes of taking the responsibility. I never saw an energy in the eyes of a coach in a long time. So let's see what happens with that one,
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, he's been in coaching since he was 22. He started in 1996.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is, 2020. He's 46 years old. He's had a different job. He's moved around. He was in New England for a long time. He was in New England for 13 years. 13 years of that time frame from 1996.
He may show himself up. You never know. We'll find out.
Yeah, I would think, they even asked the question of Bill Belichick after Sunday's game. They said, Matt Patricia's available. Would you be interested in taking him back? And as Belichick always does, he said, I'm just worried about next game right now. I'm not worried about Matt Patricia. I got to get my team ready to play the next game. He said, I wish him well or something like that, So,
But it's nothing more than a game event, in the end. It's a game event with a bunch of fans.
They didn't look good. We talked about, I think, how bad they looked.
Yeah.
A little bit, didn't we? On Friday, we said they didn't look good at all.
Well, that's okay though. We had that injury. We had the injury. We know that the team is disheveled or lost for the minute, and obviously some decisions were made. That's all. Now we have to get ready for Sunday.
Yeah, I'm excited that she made that decision. I would know last week I said, I hope they stay till the end of the season, but this showed assertiveness from her, from the Lions organizational standpoint.
I agree.
Make that statement, make that call, and say, hey, enough's enough. We're not going to tolerate this, and I've seen enough. She very easily could have taken the laid back route and waited till 5 more games.
Well, I'm going to say this one thing, and this is just, I believe the idea behind the money that drives the team. If she's really investing in the company, the team, push the money forward, push the energy forward, stay on top of this one. Much like Ford does with the vehicles and the autonomous stuff, she needs to drive this one like a car.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bring 100%. The passion, energy.
100%. She's got to stay that involved. She's got to stay that angry. She's that angry about the situation and how it's going. She needs to stay that way. I don't know if you saw the video of her, but she wasn't angry, but it looked like she was very
passionate,
confident in her in her decision that she made, which is good.
Exactly. That's all I want, is to see somebody in the top end with all the money hammering this team forward, not just simply throwing money on the fire.
Right.
Make it burn. Let's do it. Come on.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. You gotta get after it. You gotta get in there, and hopefully she dives in. She said she's going to evaluate the whole organization. She's going to evaluate the whole coaching staff, and obviously a new GM, and that'll be big.
She could do it during the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's when they normally. A lot of times, once the coaches get done, with their seasons, then that's usually when it picks up. It heats up a little. So as the season will wind down, now she's got a chance maybe to look around, talk to people. She did say that, get people's opinions, input to what, they think people's thoughts are on different people. I have the list here of potential names already being thrown around for coaches.
Really?
And they have Eric Bieniemy from Kansas City Chiefs, who's the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Brian Cole was an offensive coordinator in Buffalo. Arthur Smith, he's an offensive coordinator with the Tennessee Titans.
Wow.
And a guy named Robert Saleh, who they think is the leading candidate. A lot of people have voiced that he should be the one. He's a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
From San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I remember his name from the old days.
I think he's a hometown guy. I think he's.
That's what I'm saying. He's like old school 90s.
Yeah, I think he's from around here, and that's, I like Saleh. I like, maybe the guy. I don't know about Bieniemy, but there's some things there that are positives. And like I said, here we went last time with the leading candidate, is New England, and it's like, let's go get guys from New England and build our organization from New England. Now we're going to turn around and go get Kansas City because Kansas City's the hottest one, or San Francisco because they both played in Super Bowl.
Yeah, We're either reaching for the grapes or we're reaching for the vine. One of the two, we're going to get there.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you do in that situation? You gotta. It's good. I mean, obviously, if someone's successful, you want to get successful people around you, right? And that's always been the case in whether your business or whatever.
Well, and I'm learning this. The younger generation have a different mindset than the traditional coaches.
Sure.
So therefore, I think the younger team coaching mindset is going to bring you new energy and
Sure.
help you prune the bushes, so to say, of the older players that don't need to be in the game so much, or
Yeah.
maybe causing the problem by direct, play out. Well, let me ask you a question. Moving on, if you don't mind. U of M and Maryland.
Okay, you're in Maryland today, yes.
How's that going to play out for you? I know
You're in Maryland. Obviously, they canceled that game today, so they're not going to play. Yeah, they canceled that game. Big Ten doesn't have any room for remakes. They can't make them up, so there's no postponements really.
So
there might be a little window. There might be a little window in the end, but I don't think that's the case right now.
Okay.
I think they're worried about that Ohio State game.
Yep.
I think they probably put the kibosh on this one just so that they can get that Ohio State game in. You wonder, because I listened to a few things on the radio today, and it was, money, people talking about the money importance of making sure, if Michigan plays this week and then comes down with it next week and loses that Ohio State game to play. And the Big Ten, Ohio State's going to play Michigan State on Saturday.
Yeah, that was my next question for you.
That one's moving forward right now, at least as of today, on Wednesday.
Yeah, I know.
But right now it looks like it's all steam forward ahead for both those teams playing, which gets Ohio State that fifth game. And then the worst thing that would happen, I think, in this scenario would be that Michigan were to play Maryland in a game that probably doesn't mean so much. I mean, it means some enough, but it's not. Who
wins loses. Yeah, there's nothing more than that.
It's not going to impact the standings.
Right.
But the main objective is to play that Michigan-Ohio State game, so Ohio State will get that sixth game and qualify for the Big Ten championship and go on to play Northwestern.
Yeah, and so now the Big Ten, isn't that normally during New Year's weekend, the whole architecture of the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl,
that's the bowl games. Yeah, that'll be January 1st.
Correct, but are we aiming towards that, or are we going to have a?
Oh yeah, that's where the eventual goal is to be that. But right now they're just trying to make sure, due to the mandate that the Big Ten put in at the beginning when they decided to start playing football again.
Yes.
Was that the teams had to play 6 games to be eligible to play in the Big Ten championship game.
Oh.
It's December, I think, 19th in Indianapolis.
So that's the cutoff date for all of that.
So that's when they have to have that. They have to make sure Ohio State plays in that game. Is what the major issue is. Now it's a money issue because.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
Ohio State.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
I have a certain respect for Ohio State.
Respect, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just it's one of those situations where they have to get, as far as beneficial money towards the Big Ten and keep them in the picture, in the playoff picture, going to that Final Four, which is the BCS championship, right? So they're going to play in that, hopefully, if they can win this week at Michigan State and they beat Michigan in the following week. They'll be 6-0. They'll go and play Northwestern in the Big Ten championship game. And then that game, if they beat Northwestern, they'll be 7-0, and they should be a lock in the BCS title, in the Final Four. So they'll be ranked still. Notre Dame and Clemson still have to play each other again, probably, in the ACC title game. And then Florida and Alabama will play each other in the SEC title game. So those games they'll play their way out in that game. So yeah, it's exciting.
Well, let me ask you a question. All of this gameplay and the results of the winnings, during that bowl era.
Oh yeah.
Will any of this affect the next year team, let's just say COVID goes away by June.
No, it doesn't do anything. Once the season's over, it's over. You're just playing to get the title in. They're going to play for the national title. One of them. The 4 teams.
Yeah, but will they
But
stay?
you make money. You make. I don't know what the payout. I think it's like 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 million. They get a lot of money that is distributed throughout the Big Ten.
Yeah,
So all the schools will get money.
Everyone that's playing that has a representation to go into the nationals or stay in the college league has their ability to move forward been stymied by the COVID. Oopsie, we can't play this week. We can play next week. Has it really? I hate saying retarded. Has it delayed their ability to move forward or stay?
No. They're all. No, the COVID hasn't done it. A lot of kids opted out from college. They chose to not take a risk of getting hurt. I would guess, and just say I'm going to. They're potentially right now they're ranked to be drafted in the NFL. So why take a chance in playing the college? Some came back once, like Big Ten. They said they weren't going to play, so the players are like, well, I'm going to the NFL. So if they're underclassmen, they declare themselves for NFL. But then they came back after they decided to play the season and joined the teams. So now and some of them have played a couple games and then decided, hey, we gave it a go. We're not going to be in the title game. I'm going to get out. So they've decided to opt back in. So it's a different thing. But yeah, they're all going to go. They have the seniors will all go on that are good enough and for the NFL and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this them playing this season really has allowed them to gain experience, evaluate their talent at the college ranks on the teams. Each team's had a chance to reevaluate more of their players. Whereas if they didn't have the season and everything canceled, they would be out of luck. So it's really in that situation. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing that they're playing. It's a bad thing that some kids had to leave and not play or whatever. Proper training. You're losing out on proper training too. Like you had talked about that too, where the proper training getting guys hurt because they're not properly prepared to go out there and play. So there's been some injuries that have occurred to kids that, they weren't properly. I don't think they were all fully trained and ready to go. Their bodies weren't quite in that shape that they needed.
It was like, get ready, don't get ready. You're locked down. You're not locked down, but you have to wear masks. The whole thing was this is why it's like a pause for
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm asking a question next is, I know that there is the March Madness, coming up, and of course that's several months away, but they're trying to bring in basketball, which has already been domed at the the NBA level in Disney, saying they were actually like locking down under this bubble of thought. What's going to happen with basketball in all this transitional period within the COVID environment? Is this even a non-topic, or is this something to be considered to talk about right now?
For the basketball?
Yeah, because that's a whole different thing.
Oh yeah, no, they're trying to progress here with just the regular, and there hasn't been a lot of, and there's been some cancellations so far in the basketball. And like I'm sitting here right now, I got Michigan and Ball State playing. I got, or Gonzaga playing against somebody on the other TV. So Gonzaga's playing West Virginia right now, and later on Illinois is playing Baylor at 10 o'clock. So they're still going with the college games. But here they played the Maui Invitational, which is supposed to be in Hawaii, in Maui, right? They played the Maui Invitational. The title was the Maui Invitational, but it was played in North Carolina. So they played that, which is, because they can't travel to North Carolina. So they played the Maui at one of the facilities in North Carolina there. I'm not sure exactly which one, but yeah, so it's still one of those situations where, it's still, they're trying to make it flow like the season, but, they're still having Jimmy V Week here, which is a big promotional thing for the cancer research. Jimmy Valvano, it's V Week. They had, Feast Week. So they're still doing things that normally during a normal year without COVID would be taking place, So
we'd be in full play.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh yeah. It's just, trying to keep normalcy as much as possible.
Yeah.
So,
Well, this
it's,
whole thing will be
yeah,
entertaining over the next weekend. I think in
yeah.
my
I mean,
mind.
there's a lot of things still that they gotta figure out, play out. I mean, the football wise, you're hoping nobody else gets COVID because it's going to impact that. It could cause some delays and that kind of stuff. But and
So what? Hmm? Sorry.
just like in the football, like today, they just finished playing that Baltimore Pittsburgh game, which was supposed to play last Thursday night on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They just played today because of the COVID issues that they had.
Right.
Baltimore had to play without their starting quarterback because
Right.
he was stricken with COVID. So there's a lot of things, obviously, when you try to go forward and keep normalcy as close to it as possible, as far as the sports world goes. They're running into issues here, obviously, that they have to make decisions on, as they happen.
Well, I think the next level down, I'm sorry to say, is going to be, the regional sports, the high school football, and we've got the basketball teams that really are start right
Oh,
now
yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Hockey, which is a different whole league of team,
Yeah.
and they're in a hit and miss situation as well.
Yeah. Well, even the NBA yesterday, I think, started, or Monday this week, started camp again. So all the NBA guys are back in camp here now, playing,
Oh, really?
practice, prepping,
Really?
because they're gonna start playing the NBA again here, um, near Christmas. I think on Christmas Day, I think, is the opening day
Yeah.
for the NBA to start back up again. So
And by the way,
it won't be in the bubble, but it'll be they'll make it as normal as possible. I think as they can. So
well, my one thought is, are we going to lose the audience of sports um, audience? The sports loving crowd. Are they already lost to who cares? Like
I
saying who cares anymore? Let's just get it over with.
I don't think you've lost the crowd as much as they love to be at the gym. Yeah, they'd love to be in the stadiums cheering them on, and I think it's just an adjustment for the players as much as the fans because they're playing in empty stadiums. I watched the Spartans last night at Cameron. They played Duke, and in Cameron at University of Duke, Duke University, and no crowds and no Cameron crazy screaming and yelling. So it was just the teams. It was like an enhanced scrimmage right there. Both coaches are in sweats. They're not dressed in suits or anything like that. It's pretty casual, very
Yeah.
casual. But it's like an enhanced scrimmage with TV coverage. And I was watching it last night, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, it's kind of similar to that. I think it's just, but it was great entertainment still for TV. You still watched them get up, the kids up and down, and you know,
Yeah, I guess once we're done with this whole massive expanse of injections
yeah.
and getting COVID out of the way, maybe by the end of summer next year, we're all set to play
Well,
sports.
Dr. Fauci, obviously, he's been the
Voice.
know-it-all and the guy that's led us through this pandemic. He came out. I was reading it today that he thinks with the vaccine going in and everything that depending on how it's transferred out to people, that he feels by the next year, July,
Hmm.
August, we should have full fans. Potential for full fans, or at least a stadium worth of people in the
I would
crowd.
say return to norm. If you
Yeah,
want to call that, yeah.
they said a close to normal return is what the terminology was. He didn't predict that it'd be
So this was a year of pause in general. Having said that,
yeah.
when we're looking at, like, in the end, NFL will have coaches that suck and they're
Oh,
off.
yeah.
So are they gonna have the same transitions across the two leagues?
To the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, the NFL, yeah, every year there's always changeover. There's always issues where guys, get fired at the end of the season. So once the season ends in January, there'll be a lot of coaches that are removed from their jobs. That the ownership will move on from.
Yeah.
Not maybe not as much right now, but But I think there'll be, some years there's been 7 or 8 coaches that have been removed from the NFL coaching job. So,
I've watched that.
so you're, yeah.
This
But it's
might be where they do a massive swap out. If this is the time to change tires on an Indy 500, this is the minute.
Right. Yeah. Indy 500. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a pit stop, and, but sometimes you'll see coaches go from organization to organization too. Like, the new coach in Dallas was the old coach in Green Bay,
Yeah.
John Gruden, he was in Tampa, took a year off or so to talk, and now he's in LA back where he was. So he was with the Raiders, he left the Raiders, he came back to the Raiders. So,
right.
So coaching is a market that, they kind of just rotate guys around, and
until they retire.
until they retire, until they decide to be done. And there's guys sitting out there now that maybe, are available that may come back in, I mean, Urban Meyer's name is always thrown around now, but, he's got health issues that, removed him from Ohio State. So does he take that chance and come back and coach, kind of deal. So
let me ask you one last question while we're talking about football for the second. Matthew Stafford coming back next year?
Does Matthew Stafford come back next year? I would think Matthew Stafford should probably finish up a Lion.
You know what I'm saying?
I think if he's smart, he would finish up a Lion. Does he take a chance and go somewhere else? They were just talking about it the other day as far as the draft for the way it's lined up right now. And the teams that in the top of the draft, obviously the boy from Clemson, Trevor Lawrence, is going to go probably number 1 to the Jets. The Jets just drafted a number 1 guy a couple of years ago, right? Sam Darnold. So there's a lot of situations there where the Jets need to go draft another quarterback number 1. Probably not. But they will because he's the best player out there,
Right.
And the second guy they're thinking is this Fields from Ohio State, the quarterback from their team, But so there's teams that don't need quarterbacks, but like the Lions, they could maybe package up a Stafford trade to a team that's on the cusp of winning, but maybe needs a veteran quarterback.
That makes
like,
yeah.
So you could go right now. I'm thinking maybe does he go to Philadelphia? Does he go to New England? They always talked about maybe going to New England, taking over there under Belichick, and he's experienced enough. They got a couple young guys there, but he's experienced enough that he could go in there and do the job.
Got it.
That wouldn't be a bad move. It wouldn't be a bad move for him to go there, maybe, for Stafford to go there. But he's got his roots here. He's been here 12 years. I mean,
I know.
Like,
my mind is this way. Everyone that leaves the Lions ends up on a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, there's been other guys. Like there's other guys that have left. That the linemen, some of the linemen, maybe not. Key guys. I think
end up on teams that win the Super Bowl.
Philadelphia. I think didn't he go there? The receiver. I think he ended up going there and winning the Super Bowl.
All I'm saying is it's ironic that we bring all these people into the rankings. We're like a training camp for the rest.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Oh. So many times guys leave and prosper. Like even not just with the football. There'll be a Piston who'll be beaten for a while, and then they'll trade him, and he'll prosper at the other team.
Yep.
The Red Wings. We'll keep a Red Wing for a while. We'll trade him. He'll beat us in a game later on in the season or next year. So it's the Tigers. How many times have the Tigers gotten rid of somebody and it comes back and the guy hits a home run on us to beat us or something? That was an old Tiger. It happens a lot. I mean, it's Verlander. Obviously, Verlander's an exception to the rule, but
yeah. So just hoping that one day we can stop that flow and keep them here long enough to make a team.
Yeah,
across the system.
Even last year was the question: do the Lions take someone to replace Stafford?
Exactly.
So just like the Packers took Love this past year, who was a high-ranking quarterback.
Yeah,
they took him to groom him for taking over for Rodgers in Green Bay. But pissed off Rodgers, he's having the year of his life again, and he says, "I'm not going anywhere." So there's good stimulation. It could be something to stimulate Stafford, because Stafford sits there and says, "Who's going to take over for me? I can throw the ball away. I can throw interceptions."
I know.
There's always that. If you put a young gun, if we draft a young gun that's potentially ready to come in for him, would that change Stafford's view of how to prepare for the game? You know.
Make the old dog feel a little bit older. That's all it'll do.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's going to make him realize maybe it's time for me to move on.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
Well, I just got breaking news on my phone that the Houston Rockets Westbrook to the Wizards for John Wall. They're both all-star players. They made a little trade. I know Westbrook wanted out of Houston, so that little experiment for a year didn't work, you know. And the other guy, there it is, it's coming across the scroll right now on ESPN. So yeah, see how they trade Russell Westbrook for John Wall. But yeah, I mean that's just would Stafford be here? I don't think he needs to be here. I think he can go somewhere and play for a couple more years. Does he want to stay here? I think his roots are here. I think his wife is here. You know, I think they enjoy being in here right now. I mean,
yeah, there's a passion. There's a passion.
But is there a better opportunity for him somewhere else? Probably. Does he have to sit here and hopefully, another coaching change and maybe we'll win next year, or can he go somewhere and work it out with somebody?
An advisor at all into another team where you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos would be a good stop for him.
Exactly.
John Elway, for him to go to Denver right now, probably they have a young quarterback that they drafted a few years ago, but he's proven he's not ready yet. So the Stafford go out there and help out them.
Just him the advice.
Yeah. So I mean, there's different things, or do they just keep him here and draft a quarterback and have Stafford tutor him for a few years? And I mean, it is in that stage where he's old enough that he should be, potentially. Is that how you move? I mean, that's something with a new coach coming in. The new coach coming in may say, yeah, I love Matt Stafford, but he's not my quarterback if I'm going to be here.
Oh my God, do you realize that's the whole problem I have is they may just switch up the entire card, the whole game,
Oh, yeah. You have that situation, that option where you could, as a new coach, you come in and say, yeah, I'm not, yeah.
Well, so then I have one last question for you since we're wrapping up closely, is anything we're not talking about right now for the next few days? Because honestly, there's been a lot of stuff over the weekend, plus upcoming potential games, unless they get canceled for COVID.
Upcoming potential games?
Yeah, I mean, or what I'm saying is, what is on your mind besides what we discussed?
Oh yeah, besides what we discussed, no doubt about it. I mean, there's things like the NBA coming on, and potentially what's going to happen with that. The NHL is going to start again here. That's something that's exciting. We got next week's decision here in our state of Michigan with the governor, just like you and I, Sam, had talked about, was the excitement that the kids are hoping they can get back in there and play football and volleyball and finish up their fall sports here. So there's a lot of things there that are on the mind right now, of people.
My biggest concern is high school athletics, period.
Oh, yeah.
So at this point, this does kind of stutter the minute because all those kids in their varsity, junior varsity mode who have not been able to play or have been able to play under duress, who don't perform because they're stressed out already of concern, are not going to have the opportunity to perform properly in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Saying, so does that end now or does that continue now under this whole situation of they can play, they can't play? Because I'm looking at not just Clarkston, not just Oakland County, Macomb County, Wayne County. I'm looking at all these teams.
Yeah, it's a statewide situation, obviously. So every school in the state has to abide by this rule.
Yeah.
So no one can play until she says so, right? Until she mandates that we can go back. So right now everyone's on a standstill. They can't practice. They can't do anything. They can virtual on the video, but you can't practice with them.
No, but what's the weekend before New Year's Eve supposed to be like the high school at the stadium?
Yep. Yeah, that's right now is the tentative planning that the MHSAA, which is the High School Association, they've set up their schedule with the with the season being granted to start again, and they have a schedule planned out from December 8th or 9th, whatever day it was that she's going to make her decision.
Yeah.
That'll take them all the way through December 28th, I think it is.
Okay.
They'll play that. Play those.
Yeah, we a high school playoff of sort in the end, right?
Playoffs for football will at least need 3 more weeks. The volleyball will need 1 week, and the swimming are 1 week. So really, she just needs to get the volleyball and the swimming in, and then the football, and then now after that they can devise, and they already probably have devised the plan for
hockey and basketball. Yeah,
winter, hockey and basketball and wrestling. Yeah, you have wrestling. Wrestling.
Do you start wrestling? Jeez, forgot about wrestling. Oh my God.
Yeah. I didn't do the wrestling with the kids in the situation. Did they wrestle with masks on?
Yeah, keep a mask on while you're wrestling somebody. I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's it's a situation that they have to deal with, and I think they have a tentative plan. I know they have a plan. So
well, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. It'll be exciting to see what happens. Hopefully, they all have a chance. I mean, the worst case scenario is that she comes on in a week here and says, "We're done. We're done for another 4 weeks." Well, if she says we're done for another 4 weeks until after the New Year, then I don't know what. I mean, the kids obviously
it'll kill all the sports.
They'll be defeated. Yeah,
it'll kill all the sports. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much will put a wash, because basketball. How do you start a winter sport in January? You just can't start a winter sport in January and have a proper prep time and be able to fulfill the full season.
Yeah.
I know, and then you're pushing back spring sports, and so I think hopefully with her people and the people that are advising her that she'll give it the okay. But a lot of the cases, I don't know. People are saying the cases are still going up, but I don't know. I wish she would look and make sure, because what's funny is you haven't heard too much about flus.
Flu took a backseat to the COVID.
You don't have any flu season. There's been no flu season this year. It's only been COVID season. There's no flu season. But I know a lot of people have been sick that are sick. There was a boy that played last night in a college game. He tested him over and over and over, and he didn't have COVID. He played for Kansas last night against Kentucky on the court, but he felt and had flu symptoms. He had all flu, stomach ache, and all that. But they tested the heck out of him, and he never had any COVID. So he played in the game, but he had the flu. What they were saying.
And I'll wrap this up for the conversation a minute, saying that I'm a casual enjoyer of sports. I like to watch live sporting events when I can. I'm not ingrained in the systems of all that mnemonics, but I can guarantee you, if we don't have a season where I can sit down on an invite and just watch active sports play, it's going to make me more distracted or disconnected from what I would enjoy to do if it wasn't for the fact that we have all this other stuff going on. So I'm hoping that once we have these needling injections, or whatever you want to call it, of the COVID virus cure in play, we're good to go. And then I think by summertime, maybe we lose the winter sports.
Yeah.
But I think we can get back in play by spring, summer.
Or you just adjust, maybe there's even a master plan to adjust the season so they go longer. You play basketball a little bit longer, you wrestle, you're not necessarily done mid-March, you're done April or whatever,
I like
and
that.
then, you get into that situation where you just have to adjust the season and play more games maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of different things that you can speculate on and hope
This is the first time it's ever happened. This is the first time it's happened since a sports strike, like the baseball teams for a year, or football for a year, or hockey.
They're all out. They're all done, and they're I mean, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just
no different.
It's frustrating, no doubt about it. People have had to show patience, and people have had to adapt and adjust. You give people credit for that, but I think I can't be correct on this. I probably shouldn't say it, but I think there's the club teams are playing still, but
Oh.
the club teams that aren't sanctioned by the high school. So if your kid is playing a club sport, I think can still be playing. I have to check that out before the don't tell anybody, right? So, I mean that's the thing. It's not has she sanctioned? Has she put the kibosh on it? I'd have to double check my facts on that, but
No,
that would be a good question for her. You know what I mean?
don't ask her. Anyway, so
Yeah. Well, there's a team based out of Ypsilanti Academy.
Mhm.
It has the number one player in the high school in the country, Amani Bates.
Oh,
So
yeah.
his dad forms a team and brings in these other players to play on this team, but they're not associated with the MHSAA. So they've been playing games. They've been playing games since 1st of March or 1st of November, early November. They
Wow.
played the game on TV. They were on ESPN. They were on
Really?
played the other night. So they're playing basketball.
They're in public.
And practice,
They're not just
and
doing
they
it
play.
private. They're playing.
So these
Yeah.
kids are playing, right? So these kids are playing. The boy that's going to Michigan from next year, J.J. McCarthy, he was in Illinois, at a high school in Illinois, playing. He's played there 3 years, led him to state title or whatever as quarterback. His senior year, Illinois wasn't going to play high school sports. So he transferred to IMG Academy, which is in Florida. They played 8 or 9 games. So he got 8 or 9 games, and I don't know if the Illinois football came back.
You may have future LeBron James or whomever in that moment. You know what I'm saying? If you keep inside the rate under the kind
That's what this Amani Bates is supposed to be the next guy.
Well, we'll see, I guess, eh? All right. Well, hey, I've got no more topics for the conversation. And
You're freezing up a little bit, but
I've got no more topics for the conversation.
well, Amani Bates is supposed to be equal to LeBron. LeBron just signed a contract.
Oh.
You do.
Hello. There you go.
Hey, back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Hey,
Are
back.
you? It's yours, not mine.
Kind of freezing up a little bit.
Anyway, I'm here. Anyway,
Oh, it's
I
mine,
guess-
you think?
yeah, I think it's
I
yours.
don't know.
That's so. Listen, we'll talk. If you have anything else to say, I'd like you
Well,
to.
LeBron just signed a 2-year extension.
Did he?
Yeah, he just signed a 2-year extension today, $85 million for 2 years. Chump change, buddy. Chump change.
I'll take one loan. I promise I'll return the money. 85 million.
2 years, $85 million. That's the extension. That's not even what he's already still getting. Yeah. Oh, yeah, buddy. It's money out there. Somewhere, somehow there's money out there.
I'll try really hard to play basketball.
There you go. 1 quarter. That's all we need, 1 quarter.
Listen, you can wrap it up for us, but I think we got our topics covered.
Yeah, we pretty much covered our thing. Obviously, there's more stuff to come here on MI Sports Talk, but the changing sports world, as we say, it changes just as we have to adjust and adapt. MI Sports Talk adjust and adapt. But look forward to our power rankings coming out this week. I'm going to rank the college teams top 10. I got that. It's going to be some changes there, and NFL. There's some new changes on our power ranking for the NFL. I have an NFL top 8, so look for that to be posted tonight on our site.
I was going to say the sports team when people have the virtual teams or the ones that, they're all screwed up now.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's some losses over the weekend, some adjustments probably. I did post on MI Sports Talk site that they should hire Jim Harbaugh and get all this nonsense over with. Just give him the extension. He should be the Michigan coach and give him another 3, 4, 5 years or whatever.
Just do it.
Plenty, and I think he'll have time to build this program and get it to where he took Stanford, San Francisco 49ers. I know the fan base is very upset with him. I know they're very Patient. You have patience, number one, by some of the true fans that are up. Then you have the guys that jump in there and are making comments that aren't even Michigan fans. They're from Ohio. They live in Columbus.
Right.
Person from Lansing. He's wormed his way into the site, and they live in Lansing, or they live in Ohio State, or they live in Alabama. You know, that come in and comment just to fire up the site and get people irritated by making comments. But you just got to stay true to your guy, and everybody gets upset. And here they want to fire the guy out of Philadelphia Eagles. He shouldn't be hired. He just won the Super Bowl 3 years ago, and now they want to turn around and fire him. You know, it's just like, it drives you crazy. That's the only thing about sometimes the sporting world that drives me crazy, that the loyalty is not there as much.
This is not gonna. You got it, man. Now, let's talk after Sunday. I think this is a good important time for us to look at all of the week coming up.
Oh, yeah. We'll be back again next week to talk about what's going on with the Michigan game. Maybe Michigan-Ohio State week will be next week. Michigan State's got to close out. Yep. They're playing Ohio State on Saturday. See how they do against Ohio State. They could spoil the Ohio State season by getting a victory Saturday in East Lansing.
I hope so.
No, right? You never know. But not that we're anti-Ohio State here, but there's, we're a Michigan-based podcast, so. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting time of the year. We're getting into December here, and the bowl season hopefully will take place, and we'll be able to talk about the bowl season. We got basketball kicking off, and NHL and NBA will be starting again. So a lot of exciting things for MI Sports Talk to talk about. But James, thanks for coming out tonight, being on the show again. We'll do it again next week. Hopefully get Sam back. Maybe Mike can join us. We might even have a guest guy. We got to look into getting a guest.
Well, I have a couple friends in the sports ball better than I do, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, we can get more discussion on here. I got a guy I'm going to contact, see if he wants to come in. I'd love to hear his input on some of the Michigan stuff. So
let's see what we can do, man.
All right, buddy. Good talking. MI Sports Talk. Follow us online. Thanks again, James.
Yep, see you.
See you, buddy.